And we're back. Sorry about that little technical glitch there, ladies and gentlemen. The internet decided that we needed to pay our bill, went ahead and Venmo'd the AT&T network there, fiber cable. Ooh, a little bit of a bump there. So
I see.
I'm Mean Gene Money. Got the Dime Store Cowboy, Dalton Geyer, Zach Panzarella in the booth here with us as the inaugural DDI Race League Truck Series exhibition race. This is the first of 3 exhibition races. We're here live at Kansas Speedway, the 1.5 mile oval, watching 15 men do battle from multiple leagues. Remember, this is the inaugural race exhibition. 2 more exhibitions scheduled over the next couple of weeks. Season to start immediately afterwards. So go ahead, sign up, get in touch, get on Discord, talk to the admins, Dalton Geyer, Zach Panzarella, see about getting you some of that truck racing action. Speaking of getting some, Edward Peltz continues to lead here on lap number 19, scheduled to go 120 laps. Green flag racing so far. Great action out there. Dalton, we've seen some 3 wide, 2 wide. We've seen high, we've seen low. Really, there seems to be no preferred line here at Kansas.
Yeah, guys just searching for grip anywhere they can find it. That top line is really fun to rip. That bottom line, you have to be a little more careful with it, so you don't burn up that right front. But yeah, really just guys trying to find a way to drive off of that right rear, which is yeah.
Look at Cowgill. Is the wall a good way to go?
No, and yeah, Dalton Geyer back there knows that firsthand at this point. He's scraped that wall a few times into turn 1. Yeah, it's you got to be kind of careful. Like I said, guys trying to drive off of that right rear, just kind of burn that up over the right front. But really hard to do with this setup. The setup runs really tight. It's really hard to loosen this thing up as it goes.
I think another thing to mention too is just the pursuit of clean air, and that's what you're seeing here with Easterday, Cowgill, and Peltz. As here goes Easterday looking on the inside of Peltz. He's had enough, and he wants this lead. He's going to try to slide up a little bit. An amazing squeeze by the 7 of Peltz to not give that drive off to Easterday, and that's going to open up the door for Cowgill. Does he want to take a 3 wide middle? Oh, he's thinking about it.
We almost touched him. He went down, up, didn't want to make it 3 wide. Discretion, the better part of valor there. And now Cowgill's going to fall in behind Peltz. I lied. The Peltz cuts down. Easterday in the lead, goes up, and now outside lane trying to get some momentum. Now this right here, Dalton, this inside lane side by side, 3 wide, that's killing the tires of the fella on the apron, right?
It depends how much you're backing up that corner. If you're just sending it in there, and you'll see guys send it into the bottom, and then they just get into the gas too quick and slide it up the track. That is cooking those tires for sure.
And certainly
Peltz looked like he did well.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say that was one left.
Gotta mute that. Peltz on the exit there definitely lit up those tires, got loose, and had to do a little bit of a gather. And Zach Panzarella joining this to make this a group of 6. Zabak in the 11 showing a lot of speed. Here goes Cowgill looking the inside of Easterday, side by side. Oh my gosh, they're gonna trade a little bit of paint here. These guys are going for it. We got 24 laps down, just under 100 to go, but you would not know watching these 2 race as Cowgill slides up in front of the 95.
A little bit of a crossover there by Easterday, looking down below, would love to take that lead back. Going to bring him into 3. Easterday hugging the apron, and now he's going to bring it up right in front of Cowgill. Give Cowgill a little bit of the old dirty air to think about. Easterday going to take lap number 24.
Colton Easterday is going to be somebody to watch. If he ends up being a full-time driver, that guy he's racing right there, Patrick Cowgill, will be somebody that he'll be racing for race wins and ultimately the championship week in and week out. And speaking of contenders and guys that we've seen a lot of speed from, look who's now in 3rd place, and that's our pole sitter of Alex Hillman. Not sure how much of that initial broadcast you guys are going to be able to see due to YouTube and how wonderful it is. But, yep, Alex Hillman was our pole sitter. He didn't get to lead a lap. Patrick Cowgill got by him on the outside and led the first lap of the race, but Hillman not going too far back. And then Dalton, in terms of movers through this race. The guys sticking out to me are Zabak and Panzarella. Zabak starting just in front of Panzarella. He's all the way up to 4th, and Panzarella has been able to follow him through, and he's going to follow Zabak right around Hillman there as he saw Hillman get into the wall at a 2.
Yeah, these guys, I don't know what the special stuff is that they got, but they seem to just be able to kind of run anywhere they please. Top line, bottom line, kind of anywhere. I'm not sure what's, you know, it might be something with the throttle input that they're doing different here, but yeah, they just seems like they can run anywhere they please right now.
Like they're really getting that rolling effect that you were talking about, able to just pick their line. And it seems like both the guys up at the front really are smart about avoiding dirty air. Look at this in-car right here. I think that line was chosen by the driver in front, Panzarella. He's got Zabak in front of him, and he'll fall into line once he gets in draft position. But going into the turn, it seems like wherever Zabak wants to go, Panzarella's going to go elsewhere to avoid the dirty air, like right there. Doesn't want it, he'll go high. I mean, that was the third lane. The trucks are staggered, and now here we go. We're going to go down this long straightaway. He's going to look inside and get away. So you're right, Dalton. I think they're just choosing where there's no dirty air, regardless of where it is, and that's creating some awesome side-by-side racing right here. Look at these guys, 2 deep side-by-side. We are 29 laps into this, and the 15th truck is only 5 seconds back.
Yeah, this is insane for the early going, Dalton. I can't believe how intense this racing is early on. But what I'm also seeing is just a lot of respectful racing amongst this field, which is, first of all, an incredible thing to see in an exhibition race and a rare thing, and why this league did a private event, not only because it was broadcasted and you want to protect that integrity, but also just to make sure we had a race with this level of integrity. It may not be the bigger field size, but man, I've seen exhibition races with 40 trucks, and by lap 20, by this time in the race, there's only less than 15 left. So I think maybe a few of these guys thinking, I don't know if we're going to get a yellow flag, so I got to get my positions now when we're the most bunched up we're going to be all race.
Lap 30, we got some action down in the pits. Looked like Jonathan K. Sabir going to be the first truck to bring it down. That's that number 8 Chevrolet. We got the camera on him right there. You can see. Let's see what kind of tires he's thinking about.
I believe it'll be 4 tires here. I mean, a full run of 30 tires. I can tell you guys right now that so this is a 78% fuel load. And Jonathan K. Sabir, I believe he actually spun on the way into the pits, guys. And I think he's fixing some damage there. Yeah. Even though you have that fast repair, if you don't have to use it, you don't want to use it early, right? But this, with these green flag pit stops, I think everyone is kind of preparing themselves for. All that does is open you up for a world of mistakes. That is not as easy as it may look.
Hey, Dalton, now you remember Zach said how respectful people are racing. How about Colton Easterday? The guy's just opened up a 0.7 of a second lead. If I'm Patrick Cowgill, I'm not thinking that's respectful. I'm thinking he's trying to show me out right here. Cowgill closed that gap down to 0.5. So he's going to go up there and let him know, hey, man, let's show some more respect. Most respect you can show me is let me go by and win. Patrick Cowgill chasing him down in that 31 Chevrolet.
Hey, you know what? If you're worried about not being raced respectfully, you might as well just, run away from the field so they don't even have a chance to race you in the first place. And that's kind of what Easterday is doing right now. He is really taking off here in a race that was really bunched up for a while there.
Yeah, really cool to see what happens once the tires wear out. We talked about how side by side and pushing a little bit too hard going into the apron down on that bottom line would affect them, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Lap 3, plenty of wear on these tires, and now this is where you're going to start to separate these boys. And heck, we're still green, man. This is really awesome. I think we're going to see in a minute another aspect of what's going to separate the boys from the men, and that's going to be how you handle that green flag pit stop, especially on these wore out tires.
Yeah, that really is a beautiful thing to be seeing right now. 34 laps deep, and we've seen nothing but close racing, respectful racing, and green flag racing. That's what you want to see on a broadcast, and that's what the fans in the stands want to see. As Zach Panzarella there gets 3rd place from Zabak, and that was not on speed. Zabak with a little bit of a mistake there. I believe he got tight coming out of 4 and grazed the wall a little bit. Panzarella able to get to the inside of him, still having a little bit more line flexibility than the 11 does. And that's going to, I think we're going to see those mistakes start to stack up as we're deep in this run, guys. These guys towards the end of their fuel tanks right now, and they're going to have to bring it in. As there it is right now, Panzarella bringing it in. First one, and right behind him his teammate, Dalton Geyer.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on these pit lap time, the pit lane time, as well as the pit time. I'm looking over at Case of Beer. That pit lane time, minute 19.55
2 laps
seconds.
down now as well.
That looks like a 40-second penalty.
You're right.
Just on first glance.
You're 100% right about that, Mean Gene. That was a speeding penalty for the 8 of Jonathan Case of Beer, and that was enough to put the 8 car 2 laps down. So a brutal situation for him, as you see the 12 and the 2 car being worked on right there. 4 tires for the 12, and it's going to be 4 tires as well for the 2. A great job getting on and off the pit road by Dalton Geyer, and that is what that will do for you, erasing essentially about a half a second lead right there and coming out right behind the 12. And these are the shortcut guys, or the undercut guys. So let's see what that does against guys like Easterday, Cal, Gale, and Zabak.
Yeah, Dalton right there with the 0.8 of a second faster pit lane time. So really seeing the ability of the drivers to come in and out. You remember Dalton, he was one of the final 4 drivers over in the MRL League, their Thursday Night Truck Series. So not a surprise to see him displaying some of the finer ability there on the green flag pit stop.
Yeah, we have Patrick Calgill, the defending and the final PRL Amateur Truck Series champion, you have Zach Panzarella, the defending MRL champion, Dalton Geyer, a round of 4 competitor and PRL and MRL the Truck Series. Not to mention you have Jonathan Case of Beer, someone who was deep in the playoffs in both leagues, both MRL and both MRL leagues, and won races there as well. Just heaps of talent in this field right here. And here we go, and that was what the undercut will do for you boys, as Zach Panzarella and Dalton Geyer drive right past Patrick Calgill, who was about a half a second in front of them, but that is what 1 lap fewer on track will do for you.
Yeah, look at that best lap, 30.90 for some of the faster guys. We're going to keep an eye on last lap, and 30.90 for Panzarella, whereas 31.8 previously. So that's second just in 1 lap.
Yeah, it really is a huge delta as these runs go on, and you don't feel it a ton, Mean Gene. You do migrate to the top, but it's still a ton of on-throttle time. You don't realize quite how bad your lap times are bleeding and how big of an undercut that could be. And one thing that's also worth mentioning about this DDI RL, leagues that these guys are used to running in, being BRL, PRL, and MRL. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. But all those leagues, you really have a lot of tire decisions you need to make, right? You normally have 3 sets in the pits for you. We've seen it time and time again in MRL Thursday trucks, how you kind of need to make a decision with the stage racing there and make a set of tires last about 50 laps due to where the stage falls and the 78% fuel. That is not the case in this league. In this league, you're going to have an extra set of tires, whether or not that is the situation. If there was to even be a stage caution, the only way you wouldn't would be if you wanted to use it early to get track position. But this is an extra set of tires than these guys are used to having. And the reason we did that, me and Gene, is to kind of really, to be honest, an experiment to see what that would do for the racing and how people approached it. We don't think that gives anyone enough tire to necessarily take advantage of anything, but more to keep the integrity of the race and the fastest trucks to always have that opportunity and not have it taken away from them for something nefarious.
You know, something I'm looking at right here, we talked about pit lane time and the ability to handle the green flag pit stop. Kevin Kyle and Colin Easterday, who was running at the front, both those guys getting whacked with a 40-second penalty for speeding coming in. That is just going to put a dagger right into their chances unless there's some kind of caution that's going to give Lucky Dog opportunity. And just overall, look at the fastest guy, what he did, that 44.53 of Dalton Geyer, and then compare it to a guy who didn't do anything wrong, Juan Delgado, 50.72. Can you imagine losing 6 damn seconds just on a pit stop?
That is unreal, and it's so hard to even realize that it happens until it's too late. You come out of the pits.
It's something you can practice, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Absolutely something. Like, we all just get on this simulator. I said simulator, not game. We get on this simulator and we just start turning laps. And then at some point we get a little of awareness and we turn the tire volume all the way up so we can hear the screech. And then we're trying to figure out how far we can push it on 2-tire. Practice your pit stops, boys. You're losing 6 seconds on a damn 30-second lap track. It's something that we can do, and that's something you'll get to hear from those veterans if you join this league. They're going to be looking at what's going on with the telemetry of your car, be able to say, hey, these are your lap times. Let's play with that brake bias a little bit. Maybe that handling, there's a way that you can get a little more play in it, make your handling looser, and you'll get a little longer tire run. These are the little details that you're going to get if you come over and race here on Wednesdays. You're going to get the opportunity to run with some veteran guys, really fun about sharing what they do. And up until that green flag pit stop, everybody pretty much was within 5 seconds of each other. So if you can turn them laps, you can keep it on the track. You're going to be on that green flag. You're going to be having fun, and you're also going to learn and get faster every week.
It's a great point, Mean Gene, and it really is, where races, especially these ones that stay green, are made or broken, I think is the best way to say that. But also, I mean, you can see the inverse of that with a guy like Colton Easterday, who really had this entire field under control, got a little bit greedy. I mean, I can tell you right now, it was only about a 2 or 3 mile per hour speeding penalty that he was written up for on that ticket, but that was enough to put the 95 2 laps down and essentially out of contention of winning this race unless there's multiple cautions. And we're nearly halfway done with this thing, and that is yet to happen, as you're also seeing that 1 lap difference right here. Patrick Calgill breathing down the neck of Zach Panzarella, looking for that lead. He has 1 lap fresher tires, and you can already see that it does matter. And behind them, with the bucket of popcorn on his lap, is Dalton Geyer, hoping these two get together and he can drive away in the sunset. But these two, they've raced each other in several leagues for several years, and they know how to do it. And it's just going to be another case of that right here between Panzarella and Calgill.
I think the knowing each other is also kind of what forced Easterday there, thinking he had to make up that time. He knows how quick these 3 guys up in the front are on their pit lap times, and just happened to get caught. It's a fine line, What's the old saying? Pressure makes diamonds, but pressure also bursts pipes. And I think that's a little bit of what we've seen. Speaking of, look at that dirty air. Calgill just ate a mouth of it, sends him right up the track, forces Geyer off of the throttle a little bit, and they spread apart. This thing 0.6 seconds. That's about as far apart as they've been the last 4 laps. I imagine Calgill's going to tighten it back up, as is Dalton Geyer. Great racing up front. Panzarella, Calgill, and Geyer. We're on lap 49. That's going to be the completion of 49. Panzarella takes it at the start-finish, and we are going to lap 120. 71 laps remaining here at the inaugural DDI Racing League Kansas exhibition.
And so far, these boys keeping it green and keeping it clean and showing off just why this league is going to be so special. And one thing to note right here is this 11 of Zabak and this 08 of Alex Hillman. These guys, and I don't think it's because of the battling going on in front of them. I think it's their tire advantage and just the heaters they're putting down. They are taking out significant chunks of that lead group lap after lap. It was as high as 4 seconds at one point for the 11. It's now down to only 2.7 as they are now reeling in that lead group with fresher tires, and they're not racing anybody, so nothing but clean air in front of them. So that's going to be something to keep our eyes open for, as we are not even halfway done with this set of tires yet, Dalton.
Yeah, you know what? And just to go back, talking about those pit stops, and seeing so many different times, guys being a lot more conservative, some guys being more aggressive, and you see the guys that lost 5 seconds, but the reason why those guys are okay losing that 5 seconds is because look at where being too aggressive gets you. 2 laps down. It just so guys are really afraid of that, and they'll take that few seconds as long as it doesn't cost them 2 laps.
It's a balancing
Yeah,
act
but
indeed.
if Peltz had one more second, he had a 47-second pit stop. So he's 2.4 seconds off
And a hot
of
rod.
the leaders. Yeah, and he's been fast all day. If he was just 1 second faster, he'd be ahead of these boys right now, not sucking up that dirty air. You know, we're nitpicking, of course. It's our job here. But you're right, Dalton. The biggest thing that you can do is not take yourself out of the race, and that's what those penalties are going to do, is take you out. But I mean, hell, you're on a razor edge of trying to win against some of these guys, especially if you look, they've been racing 4, 5, 6 seasons against each other. There's always bragging rights. This race means absolutely nothing except for a nice $25 gift card. But
Big deal.
But really, it's just the bragging rights of coming against each other and saying, hey, I took that first one. There's only going to be one inaugural, and this is the one. And so they want to take that. And right now, Cowgill, with that lead, he knows he's in front of the league admin. This would be a great chance for him to go on and just get a little notch on the belt. You know, it's not as cool as a notch on the bedpost, but hey, you got to take it where you can.
And Patrick Cowgill, no stranger to taking trophies away from Zach Panzarella. Truly the godfather of PRL for so many years. And someone who is, I mean, like you've talked a lot about, me and Gene, and how a lot of these guys that you'll see running out front are open books. I really think he's a product of why you see some speed out of that 12 right now. Is just the knowledge he's instilled in his competitors. And that's, again, going to be a benefit of running a league like this, is learning from a world-class driver in Patrick Cowgill, someone who's been racing, sim racing since the NR, what is it, 05 days before I make myself, or 03 days. For literally,
You're gonna get your sim racer card revoked.
Literally, I am, because I just exposed myself for only playing this sim. But Cowgill has been doing this for well over a decade, and he is showing it right now. And now that we have things calming down a little bit, let's take a chance to go through the field a little bit and introduce you guys to everybody that is here in this inaugural race, because it is a big deal. And I think the majority of these guys is somebody that you'll will get used to and get to know as the season goes on. So first place, we just talked about Patrick Cowgill, a veteran. Second place, Zach Panzarella, the defending MRL champion and a PRL Truck Series champion, a truck specialist, the admin of this league, someone who I think has been finding a new level of speed in the last year or so, but still struggles to stay on the same level as a lot of the guys you're going to see in this field today. Dalton Geyer, the teammate of Zach Panzarella, and a Daily Drivers Inc. driver and a veteran of the trucks specifically as well. A Daytona 500 winner in the iRacing Official Series, and a Final Four competitor in numerous leagues who has multiple wins in MRL. So someone that will be a front runner and I think will be up front, or someone to be reckoned with all season. And someone that I'm very excited about right here, guys. This 11 of Mark Zabak. I love
He's creeping
because
up.
of this.
He's
and look at
creeping up,
this.
dude.
And look at this long run speed out of this 11. He is now within a second of Panzarella and Geyer. Again, this is 3 seconds that this 11 has taken off. And this is somebody that you can clearly tell has this truck figured out, has this platform figured out, and knows how to be fast on the long and short run. I am excited and hope we get to watch this guy week in and week out as you see Panzarella just need a handful of wall there.
Hey, you know what? He's keeping it cool. He's keeping it, real chill. I think he's not really stressing out. He's just running his laps, and I think that's because he's Canadian.
And I was literally
I was
guy
about to
beat
say,
me too.
yeah.
You guys, so that's what we were all thinking. We were all about to make a Canadian joke.
Got that Canadian cool.
He
I
said,
mean-
hey, boy, I'm pulling up behind you. I'm going to race you down.
If you don't mind, 'cause they're all so nice but so fast as well. But yeah, I'm
I'm gonna put
excited
you in the wall.
about the Canadian Zabak. That is awesome. And then Alex Hillman, I think a name a lot of people are getting used to on this network, a Monday Night MRL Cup Series driver, has a win over there. Also has a win in the Cup Series over in the PRL League, which was one of their elite leagues with no iRacing cap. So he was going against 7K guys and got a win over there. Alex Silliman has been figuring out the long run lately. He's going to be someone that we're going to be looking at, and he's a full-timer. I can tell you boys that right now, and I know that number will be the 08. Cody Matthews.
Yeah, he's electric.
Oh, he is. Cody Matthews. This is another new guy, guys. This is a guy coming over from the Calgill group, and again, tons of speed and the highest I rating in this race today.
Steve Lewis taking an opportunity to short pit the rest of the field. Just came down there on lap 60, so he's the first guy to take that second pit stop. Lewis with a good pit time, 4:5.76. So less than a second off of fastest pit time. So good pit stop there by Steve Lewis.
And you know all about Steve Lewis, me and Gene, so give us a little quick
Louis.
synopsis on Louis.
Louis,
fan of
he's a
steak.
veteran. He's a veteran of truck racing, Xfinity, Cup racing, the next gen. Louis also runs some ARCA races. I know Louis back from the Xbox Heat 5 days. Fierce competitor, clean driver. You know, just the kind of guy you want in your league. Just all around good guy.
I love Steve Lewis. I've been racing him for years, and he's just like you said, a class act, clean driver, a hard-working driver, and one that's constantly showing improvement. And on that note, tell us a little bit about Graham McGivern, Dalton.
Graham. He's our Michigan man. Running that monster paint scheme. Yeah, he's been running. Let's see. I think did he start in the MRL and then came over to the QRL. You see Geyer coming in for a pit stop there.
BRL too. He's a BRL regular.
And
Tuesdays.
BRL.
Yeah.
This dude cannot get enough racing. Just one of the nicest dudes too that you'll talk to running these races. Really, and really, kind of a.
Like the salt
I
of
don't
the
want to say
earth.
like I don't want to say like polite, but like really gets in a lot of trouble that's not his doing sometimes, for sure, on track, but just really just great to have.
Yeah, so excited to see Graham McGivern here today, and a guy that we are expected to be a full-time driver here in this league, and someone who I think can make a lot of noise. He has been a round of 8 driver over on BRL Truckin' Tuesday, so he knows his way around a truck. So excited to watch him today. Behind him, the newcomer, Christopher Calgill, the older brother of Patrick Calgill. Patrick going to take a lot of pride in being faster than this guy this season, guys. But also, it's going to be fun to watch Patrick racing his brother week in and week out.
Dalton Geyer came down again. Remember, he had the fastest pit stop. Pit lane time, and does it again there. He turns a 4.466. That is a 1.1 second faster than Louis. So Louis losing a 1.1 second there. Louis still with a respectable 4.576. We'll have to look at the guys when they come through, but Dalton short pitting the fellas that are out there and having an amazing pit stop. Going to see what he does here as they rotate around in this pit cycle.
And I think you can throw Dalton under that same bucket of kind of like Steve Lewis there, kind of ultra short pitting there. Very short to, I think, what you're going to see from Panzarella and Calgill. As actually, I think Calgill bring it in this time as, the 11. Oh, no. Zabak goes around. Zabak around right in front of Hillman. Oh, Hillman does a great job of avoiding him. That's going to be a lot of time the 11 cannot afford. And the worst part of all that, guys, it happened in the pit, so that means no yellow.
We're going to see if he's going to get any kind of penalty for that too, because often the spin is going to run you out of, run you a little hotter than you would like. Really unfortunate because Zabak had caught up to the second place truck there and had made himself definitely a contender, somebody we were going to talk about. We're going to just have to keep an eye on Mark and see how he recovers from that. That's the number 11 Chevrolet Mark Zabak.
And then right there, you see Hunter Hall passing the leader, Zach Panzarella. Hunter Hall on fresh tires, Panzarella clearly not. We'll touch on Hall real quick as well. Now that we have the opportunity, he's on screen. Hall, just a driver, super hungry, a sponge, someone I have the opportunity to coach a couple of weeks out of the month, each month, and someone who is learning quickly, much like the rookie pitting or just exiting the pits right here. Juan Delgado, I think he has about under 3 months of iRacing experience beneath him, but he is doing a great job learning this discipline here, and also just staying out of trouble with a lot of talented guys around them. As you see now, Panzarella bringing it down into the pits, not wanting to stay out too much longer than his opponents of Calgill and Geyer. As you can imagine, this is going to cost him a little bit of time on track with those extra laps. That's going to give the lead to the 10 of Cody Matthews.
Yeah, Cody Matthews, just a matter of time till we saw him running up in the front. That I rating, you expect him to be up there getting it done, but he got caught in a little bit of traffic there at the beginning. A little unfortunate for him, as you were talking about, Dalton. Can get a little tough with that dirty air as people are zipping around that track trying to find their way through. Cody being very patient early on. Lap 72, though, I mean, you only got about 48 laps left. I think the time for patience is about over. This thing's clicking away, green the whole time.
I think these guys, with what's happened to them in this race, hoping for a caution here, because I do think if there was one, well, they have the majority of the field a lap down, so they'd be able to pit and keep their track position by virtue of that. So that'd be huge for guys like Matthews, Calgill, Christopher Calgill, I should specify, and Edward Peltz, who we'll touch on right now. There is Peltz bringing down the pits. We've talked a little bit about Peltz already today. Led some laps today. Someone who I think is this league is designed for a guy like Edward Peltz. Someone that we know has tons of speed. Did not surprise anyone, I don't think, by leading, I think, 20-plus laps, having great qualifying speed and knowing what to do with it with the opportunity given. Needing to clean up those things that we talked a little bit about, like pit entry and where to kind of dictate that aggressiveness. But that first pit stall certainly, or I'm sorry, that second pit stall certainly does not hurt for Edward Peltz. As you can see, gonna give him a nice little exit there. And still out on the track is Matthews and Calgill, hoping to trap as many guys as they can a lap down. Geyer and Calgill have already been able to get around Matthews and other Calgill to get their laps back the hard way. So this caution would not be making or breaking for them anymore. But these green flag races, boys, they really open up the book for a lot of interesting stuff like this to happen.
Well, Steve Lewis is on him, about to get that lap back the old-fashioned way. Panzarella directly behind them. Ooh, a little bit of a block there by Matthews. Lewis cannot get around cleanly. I want to go back a second about what you said there, Zach, talking about the pit stall, the second pit stall being so good. And I know, especially if you're in a race coming off of a caution, you'd love to be in that front row because you just gun it and it's not a problem. But Dalton, tell me, if it doesn't matter, if there's no one else down there on a green flag pit stop, what's your favorite stall? You want to be early or you want to be late or in the middle?
You know what? I like to be late so that because a lot of these places, sometimes they'll have a penalty for driving through too many boxes. So if you're up toward so if you're up towards the front, you don't really have to worry about that on exit because there's not enough stalls for you to drive through to get that kind of penalty, and you can just it's just a straight shot out of there.
I'm glad you said that because with my qualifying efforts, I'm usually in the last pit stall. So I've never had that problem of driving through too many pit stalls and risking a penalty. So I'm glad you let me know about that just in case I'm ever in an open qualifying session and I qualify a little bit further up the grid. So look at this now, man. This is good. Steve Lewis up into fourth, while Matthews and Christopher pushed it so far on their run. Now they are suffering because of those slow pit times or slow lap times that they had on those wore out tires. And look up front. I don't think it's a coincidence. Look at the pit lap times of the leaders compared to the other people. The number one Dalton Geyer, 44.66. Number two Patrick Calgill, 44.78. Zach Panzarella, 45.10. Steve Lewis, 45.76. Alex Hillman, 46.22. So it almost looks like a direct relation between those pit times. Now, of course, how long you stayed out on those tires affects you, but I'm just really having a revelation watching this race of just how important getting in and out of those pits really is. I mean, this is just hitting me in the head like a BJ Penn getting after his mom this weekend in Hawaii. Golly.
That's a shame. That's sad to see. But you know what? Okay, the other thing though, along with the pit times is, I think we're running, about the tanks on these cars. You get about 37, 38 laps of fuel, I think, with the way it's set. So theoretically, if you run long every time, you're still having to make a last pit stop with like what 10, 12 to go. So that kind of setup makes it so that these pit windows are just so wide, and so many guys are on different strategies with different tires. You see that 03 who pit a lot later than Geyer there, unlapping himself. And so you're seeing guys on a lot of different tire strategies, different pit times. It's just kind of all over the place in regards to that.
Yeah, this really is make it or break it time in terms of strategy, because like you said, it really is only about 36 laps you have to the good. So this is when you have to make that decision. When do you want those fresh tires? Do you want them on the tail end of the run, or do you want them at the beginning of the run? And also, I mean, let's look out for some shenanigans. If some guys want to take two, maybe run it really long and only take two. There's a lot of different possibilities available to the top three right now. I will say, if we stay green, it seems like it's between Geyer, Calgill, and Panzarella. And really, that is what you get when you have these long green flag races. It's not really anything to be said about any of these guys in the field or any lack of speed. It's just the little things like pit entry, tiny mistakes like we've seen, or even someone making a mistake in front of you that can cost you the 2 or 3 seconds that are just impossible to get back. But right now we're seeing Calgill taking chunks out of that lead from Geyer. It's been about a second in the past few laps, guys.
Yeah, last lap right there, 0.2 of a second faster by Calgill. How about Panzarella, 0.3 of a second faster, trying to make that run? Lewis seems to be dialed in. Remember, Louis pitted on lap 60, so he's got the oldest tires out of the top. In fact, out of everybody, Louis was the first one. That did get him up into 4th. Meanwhile, the best tires out there, of course, Cody Matthews back in 8th, pitted on 76. But I'd say of those front runners, you got to look at Panzarella there, lap 70, and two laps makes a big difference. We saw that one gap, just one lap different tires earlier with 2 trucks battling, and even just one lap fresher tires allowed people to drive right around that outside.
I think the beautiful thing about races that trend this direction as well is the opportunity to kind of experiment. You saw Panzarella do the undercut before. It did give him some track position, as you see the 11 make a nice move to the bottom of the 88. Yeah, very nice. And look at that. Zabak just kind of slot carring the inside lane and plenty of room on exit. Beautiful move there by the 11 to move in the top 5. But what it does give you is it gives you opportunities to experiment. You undercut the first time, and then the next time around, you think, okay, well, that didn't work so well on the tail end of that run. Let me try to go long on this one, see if I can go really hard and make up that time, and then I know what to do when it's winning time and it's our last chance to pit. And then I know when to pit, and I know how hard I want to drive this race car.
Speaking of short pitting, here comes Easter Day. That would be his last scheduled pit stop. This is his 4th pit. I'm kind of wondering,
parking it for the day for the 95.
Yeah, if he's going to be calling it right here. We'll have to keep an eye on the 95, see what he does.
Yeah, Easter Day, showing tons of speed. He's going to put 2 tires on it, maybe 4, but not the day he wanted. We saw Kiesa Beer park it for similar incidents. And then also, yeah, he does take 4. And then another guy that's been plagued by those same issues is Kevin Kyle here in the 16, the admin of BRL and a winner in all the leagues that this dude has run in and nearly every car that he's put himself in. But today, just not having the luck that I think he would like, and also not showing the speed that we're used to seeing from that 16. Granted, he got here about a minute before practice ended, so that goes to show, boys, put in your practice laps, get your reps, because when the parity is like this, that could be all the difference.
Yeah, Kevin Kyle, more of a next-gen driver. We've seen him be very competitive on Sundays and Mondays, so truck, kind of a newer thing for me to watch Kevin do there. Looks like we're going to go back up to the lead, see what's going to happen. Also, you're right about Easter Day. Helmet came off. Helmet went onto the track. Luckily, officials got it off the track before a caution was called. But Easter Day going to be done for the day.
Yeah, our officials risking their lives to pick up that helmet. That will be a small fine. For
You know what? That was Kevin James, dude. He just ran out there. What a crazy person. He just ran out there and grabbed it. Yep.
I'm not even surprised. I mean, we saw what he did on that one TV show.
You know what's crazy? We haven't seen that massive pace truck all day. It's just been green this whole time.
It's 89 laps deep, and we are still green. And at this point, boys, let's finish this thing off and keep it green. And I just want to take my hat off to this field. Exhibition race, like we've said, only a trophy and a $25 gift card in the line. But these guys showing the importance as Dalton and Guy are going to bring it down. No surprise there. Geyer on the short end of the strategy altogether, kind of married to that strategy with how much he short pitted there, guys.
What do you think, Zach? 2 tires on the table for anybody, or are you going to take 4? There's still a lot of laps to go here. You still got 31 laps at this point.
I think they're very much on the table for other drivers. I don't think Geyer, with how early he's going to have to come, we'll see here as he's going to jack up the left side, and then the right will come shortly after. I do think he's going to send down. Here comes Panzarella bringing it down, and oh boy, guys, I need to go back real quick because I think we just saw one of the craziest entries, and this is, we talk about how sketchy it is. Look at this entry, guys. Completely out of control. And entering at about 45.5 miles per hour. So while, yeah, there's a lot of time to be gained, there's a lot of mistakes to be had, but that's going to have Panzarella pit right after Geyer. Not going to let Geyer get the advantage of that short pit. We'll see if Panzarella takes 4, but also let's keep our eyes on Patrick Calgill and see what he wants to do. Panzarella entering. Let's see Patrick here. He's in the backstretch. Here are Panzarella's crewmen. And that's 4 tires they have ready to go. Here comes Calgill, I believe this time. Yeah, he is bringing it down, guys. He's done a great job of that high to low line. Very loose also for Calgill. You can see how much is on the line here.
Oh, he's getting them. He smoked them.
4 tires for Panzarella, and make it or break it time for Calgill. He smoked them hard. No black flags visible yet, but here is the moment for him. Does he want to do something cute, or does he want to keep it simple? Calgill, been the class of the field since Easter Day's mistake, but he did pit a lap later, guys. Here we go. Calgill. Oh, a little bit late in the stall.
You know, Dalton, that's something we didn't even think about, do you prefer to have an early or a late pit stall, front or back? What if you come in a little wild?
2 tires, guys.
If you come in a little wild, you might want to think about taking middle or forward, because it's kind of hard to cut into that first pit stall when you come in if you're sliding wild. Yeah, so two tires for him, so he's going to take a risk,
Yeah, that's
swing for the fences.
That's a gamble. We're not in Vegas, we're in Kansas, but the tracks look kind of the same, so why not? And Calgill, we've seen this before, guys.
Squeeze there.
Oh yeah, man, the 11 not doing his friends any favors. But right there, Calgill back on the track. But Dalton, we've seen this before. I'm having flashbacks to Watkins Glen right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll see if this strategy works out, because, yeah, those 4 tires should make Geyer and Panzarella significantly quicker. And I just don't know if there's enough space. I don't know if that 2-tire stop gave him enough space between them.
I think that slight, tiny pit road mistake may have played into it as well.
Yeah, but like you said, Dalton, I mean, 2 seconds, barely got 2 seconds on Zach, and 2.2 over Dalton, so not quite the advantage that he thought. Maybe that disadvantage, that mistake coming in, definitely going to hurt, but I wouldn't think 30 laps is going to hold up on 2 tires with only that 2-second lead. Meanwhile, earlier you talked about Mark Zabak.
Yeah, see what I did now.
and his move. Zabak's still trying to recover from that basically spin wreck he had coming in. So all things considered, I think Mark's got to be real pleased with his recovery. Mark wasn't very fast in practice either. He was the slowest 3 trucks out there. So really impressed what this guy can do in traffic. He's done nothing but just, well, I'm not going to say dominate, but he's definitely put on a show for the fans.
And when Zavok put that squeeze on Calgill, Zavok was the leader of the race, so he had every right to do that. He was just putting the car a lap down. So Zavok doing a little bit of an alternate strategy there, as are a few other cars, as we are focusing a little bit here on Calgill, Panzarella, and Geyer, since they should be the leaders once we cycle out, but Matthews did inherit it. I think Matthews is going to pit here. Oh, I think he wanted to pit there, guys, and he missed the lane entirely, because the other Christopher Calgill just blew by him, and Calgill was about a second or two behind Matthews before that happened. So I would bet my bank account that Matthews is going to bring it down next time around, but I think he meant to that previous lap. And then another car, Juan Delgado, also going to try to stretch this out. Delgado, we've talked about, he's a rookie, but he's doing a great job, guys, staying out of trouble. 0 incidents today in this race. He's had clean pit entrances, pit exits, not as fast as he needs to be, but that comes with time. And he's got a new paint scheme. This will be available actually on VortexRacingNetwork.com to purchase. That paint scheme will be as a template. It'll come with tons of other color options and things you can run with. But Juan Delgado doing an awesome job out here. And actually, I am wrong. Cody Matthews would rather go 5 seconds behind Calgill. Could he be trying to save fuel?
Never can tell. You don't want to go back to Juan for just a second. Dalton, you and I were talking about drivers at different levels of progression. You know, I was in a race earlier today, and I was just straight pleased to finish on the lead lap, and I led a lap. First time I had done that in that league. Really happy. So you're going to see a lot of different peoples at different levels of progression. I think for Juan, the biggest thing that he can think about is, no incidents. That is huge. The guy's not a factor for the front runners. He's not pulling a Joey Logano, ruining William Byron's race out there. The guy's just laying down his life. I'm a Joey fan, but I'll take it. I'll take it. So you're going to see different levels of progression, and you're going to see that advancement. My victory today was to not have any incidents. Somebody else who beat me, got 5th place, was so angry. It was ridiculous. But again, this is a recruiting race, and you're just seeing the different levels of driver. And even the top level drivers here, so far, what we've seen from their resume, making mistakes. We see a Easter Day come in, screw up the pits, do it twice, and he's gone. So different levels of progression, giving you all kinds of opportunities to compete, to learn, and just have a good time in general. Again, this is our first recruiting race. There's going to be 2 more this week. Here we are at Kansas. Next week we're going to be at Charlotte, and I'm not going to be the first person to reveal the 3rd one, but let's just say it'll be a transition race as well. And you're going to have a good time, and it's probably Ernie Irvin's least favorite track.
Now that particular track, does it have lights?
Does it have lights? Oh, because Auto Club doesn't.
I don't think
I
Michigan.
just gave it away.
Oh, wait, now we're all saying different. I'll say Watkins Glen. I'll just say another track then.
Yep, a
Watkins.
transition race at Watkins Glen. That's the plan.
Yeah.
No, a night race at Talladega.
Yes.
Let's go, Ricky Bobby.
Honestly, it would be just as safe as the way they run it now. So Juan Delgado, the lap after Cody Williams electing to bring it in. Cody Matthews, I apologize. Cody Matthews bringing in a lap before there. So now the only guy stretching it as far as he can is Christopher Calgill with his brother 6 seconds behind. But one thing that has kind of formed here, guys, is look who is in between Panzarella and Calgill. That is the lapped car of Edward Peltz, but here's the twist. He's on far fresher tires than both of them.
Yeah, and he led early. So this is a guy we saw with speed, and we know what he can do up there in the front. And another thing, talking about development, how about Christopher Calgill? He was the second to last truck on that lead lap for a long period of time. Here he is now getting those bonus points for leading a lap. He's one caution away from being in a hell of a good spot. Yeah. He'd put everybody a lap down at that point, except for Peltz, McGivern up. Now, sure, those fellas would stay out and get a wave around, but guess what? The guys on the top 8, they'd all get fresh tires. And, dang well, that's going to end their day. And somebody like Kevin Kyle, this guy's still looking to come in for his 3rd pit stop. I mean, hell, he's lap 74 as last time he came in. So that, Kevin has to come in. He's not even a candidate for a wave around. So Calgill making a play here. Christopher, that is trying to take a risk, but that's what you got to do sometimes. I'm not going to beat a lot of guys on the track, but if I can beat you in the pits, hey, I'm going to take it.
Hey, you see guys like Joe Logano do it all the time, do you not, Dalton?
All the time.
I mean, 3-time champion, and how else?
3-time. I don't know. Maybe he beats people. I mean, when they wreck in front of him, maybe.
Yeah. I've seen that once or twice. As
Mhm.
I'm also
Or when
curious.
they run out of gas. When they run out of gas at Charlotte and they got to come down again.
Yeah, it's either him or his teammate who's going to be out of a job soon. Austin Cindric.
First time I ever felt bad for Denny Hamlin. I was like, damn, bro, that stinks.
But yeah, honestly, that is a well, first and only, I will say. But this actually is a great time now that we are talking about Joe Logano and his championships, whether or not or how or not he won them. This is actually going to be a slightly different thing about this league. Me and Gene cover a couple different leagues together, as does Dalton. The BRL, for example, runs the old school Winston Cup, what's it called, format that I'm a fan of. But then MRL Mondays runs the current Championship 4 format that Mean Gene's a fan of. There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
This league, however, is neither of those. This league is going to kind of do a hybrid. We're going to run a chase format here, but it's going to, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but when there was chase racing back in the day, there weren't stages. Am I right about that?
You are correct.
Okay. So we will have stage points, and those stage points will pay out the same way they would as playoff points in the modern day system. So that'll be one extra point for you that will carry on to the chase. So different than the old chase, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here, I believe the old chase, no matter what you did in the regular season, just set everyone up at 10,000 points or whatever stupid number they chose, and everyone was even. That will not be the case in this league. What you do in the regular season will matter to the advantage you have in the chase. However, no one's getting eliminated. I believe it'll be, we're looking at a 10-driver chase in this league. It'll probably be either 7 to 10 races, but no one will get eliminated. But getting those bonus points, whether it be for a 0x race, for not using your fast repair, for leading a lap, the most laps, the fastest laps, the pole, or winning the stage, those are things that are going to be very beneficial once it comes chase time. But I'm very excited to publicly announce that, yeah, this league will be running kind of a hybrid of the 2-point systems that we have the privilege of covering elsewhere.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many laps can you run on a tank of fuel here?
Because is it the 03 making you confused?
Yeah, Christopher Cowgill still pushing it, because if you could get 40 laps of fuel, that puts him about 4 laps short. And he's not saving, though. I mean, look at this, 4/10 of a lap. He's 4/10 of a lap slower. So he's still pushing this thing. I'm afraid he's just going to come up short, and that's too bad, because he really took a risk here. He's one caution away, though. He's one caution away from being in striking distance.
Especially now. I'm sorry, what were you saying,
Dalton? If you run long every time, I believe right around now is when you have to come. Oh, wow.
Oh, man, that won't help.
The tires are screaming at him, too. But yeah, if you ran the tank dry every time, I think this is about as long as you could go on that last stint. I don't think a two-stopper. Yeah, I don't think a two-stopper was possible unless you like really stretched it like to the point where it wouldn't even be worth it with how slow you'd have to run.
Well, here comes Kevin Kyle. He was only had taken 2 stops, so Kevin Kyle coming in for his third.
And look at this, guys. Peltz starting to, I mean, like, again, we were talking a lot about how good of a situation this would be for Christopher Cowgill if that caution was to come out. How much better of a situation would it be for Edward Peltz if he gets this lap back before that caution was to come out?
Oh, yeah, because then he could pit and take tires when everybody else did, instead of, well, he'd still be the lucky dog, but it's awful awkward to be the lucky dog and then try down and take tires and catch up real fast.
Exactly. And then you have to start in the rear.
That's always a pain.
He could hypothetically, Gene, he's on the newest tires. He could take 2 and have a chance and take the lead and have a chance at this win. So Edward Peltz, understandably, racing the leader, well, not the leader even, the second place car, but the presumed leader if the 03 is not able to make it very hard. And I can tell you that 12 of Panzarella is the biggest Edward Peltz fan on the planet right now.
Here we go. Christopher Cowgill making the call on the radio.
There
They're
it
going
is.
to wave him in, and there goes the John Deere
And that-
03 Chevrolet. Good run by him today.
And that slowed down his brother, though. I mean, that dumped a tiny bit of dirty air on Peltz and his brother, Patrick Cowgill. That was enough for Panzarella to get by Peltz and make this just a mano with 6 to go. And again, we know Cowgill has 2 tires versus Panzarella's 4. Granted, 1 lap newer 2 tires for Cowgill. However, that lead was up to about 3 seconds when the pit cycle came through. Panzarella cut it down to about a second, and then it stalled out entirely. And the only way he's been able to cut it down has been the Edward Peltz nuisance and the dirty air from his brother. So 5 to go. Here we go.
These boys running about the same lap times right now, but once he gets into that draft situation, it's going to pull him up tight. We're going to see something exciting. Dalton Geyer, he's about 2 seconds back, running the same lap time, so he's not really going to have a chance. Maybe he can try to catch along to Peltz to try to close that gap. 4th place, Mark Zabach, really good run, really good recovery from what he did. Hillman's going to run in 5th. Steve Lewis currently back in 6th after that early pit, just kind of trying to hold on. And you got Graham McGivern about to run Steve Lewis down as well. So we got action up front and we got action toward the back of these lead pack trucks. And we only got 4 laps to go as it's going to be Cowgill leading Panzarella. Cowgill, remember, he's only got those 2 tires. So what we're about to see is either going to be a miracle or maybe not. Let's see what happens.
The 12 used the top to catch Cowgill, but now trying to show a little bit of muscle on the bottom and some flexibility that I don't think the 31's going to have with those 2 tires.
Look how high he's going up there, Dalton. Is now the time, like, where I would think you'd be scared to go up there on older stuff. One mistake and you're in the wall.
It's your only chance.
Now, here's the thing, and this is actually why that 2-tire stop is kind of working for Cowgill here. Is that 2-tire stop is going to loosen you up and actually make running up there a little easier, because as we know, loose is fast.
Well, I'll tell you what, Luce almost was a wreck as he come across the nose of Panzarella as they're taking it down the backstretch. 119, they're about to come around and take that white flag. That'll make it official. Panzarella's going to look down, catches a little dirty air, gets clear of it, going to pull back to that rear quarter panel side by side, coming out of 4 on the front stretch.
We are setting up for a classic finish here. So they go down the front stretch, banging doors. Panzarella comes up a little bit. Cowgill,
Again.
Man, door banging. Gave it right back to him. Panzarella down to the very bottom. Cowgill to the very top. As we come out of this corner, is Panzarella going to be able to clear him? Oh, just barely. Oh, Cowgill into the wall. Looking to get that. Just didn't have the run as he hit the wall. Both going in the middle lane. Cowgill trying to follow him through, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Cowgill is not going to have the run. Zach Panzarella down to the apron, takes the checkered flag for this first exhibition race.
Look at that. You can hear him on the radio. He's not saying congratulations. Cowgill, just a little bit chippy on the radio. He's not from Canada, as he lets Zach know, good win for you, but boy, am I unhappy. That gamble almost paid off. You're right. Cowgill running up on that top line a little bit looser, looked really good. Panzarella, though, gave him a little bit of the old short track mentality here on the 1.5-mile track. Ends up paying off. Panzarella's going to take the initial win here at the exhibition event. Cowgill second, Dalton Geyer third. Mark Zabach going to recover from his shenanigans in the pits for 4th. Alex Hillman 5th. Lewis holds off McGivern, and he is going to get 6th. Graham McGivern 7. And we had 7 finish on that lead lap. Edward Peltz 8. Hunter Hall 9. Cody Matthews going to be 10th. And you know, Cody, it's going to be a situation of what could have been, as he also had some troubles down on pit row.
Yeah, what a finish and what a race to start this league off. I mean, could you ask for much more than a wire-to-wire green flag race where you get to watch the cream rise to the top? I mean, you see those deltas right there on our results. only 7 cars on the lead lap. And again, that is nothing to be said about the talent of anybody in this field. We saw guys who led amongst the most laps up there, or I'm sorry, down there, laps down. I'm talking about Edward Peltz and Colton Easterday, and also guys like Cody Matthews, who was putting down some of the fastest laps. Christopher Cowgill, who we saw leading there late in the race and just didn't quite have enough fuel. But man, Patrick Cowgill and Zach Panzarella, they another classic between those two. And I think the beautiful thing is that it never ends in one of them facing the wrong direction. And it got a little bit chippy, but it's when it's one to go and you beat and bang down the front stretch, that kind of sets the tone for all bets are off. And I think that's the type of racing to expect here in the DDIRL.
Look at all the way down there too. Everybody was competing. You know, first and second were going, first, second, and third going at it for the win. And then look at fourth and fifth. Those guys right at each other, battling for that position. Sixth and seven. I mean, that's what 6/1000th of a second
Close.
difference.
Yeah,
there
you know what?
between
Photo
the six
finish
and seven.
between Lewis and McGivern there.
Can we do you want to get a replay of that? Or
I'm gonna try my best.
that?
Okay, let's go backwards.
But yeah, Zabok and Hillman actually, I believe they started that last stint a good 16 seconds back, and so they cut into that a good 6 seconds. They were flying on that last stint.
The coming and going of the speed with the tires truly was fascinating. I mean, hats off to Patrick Cowgill. That had to have hurt a little bit. Because, man, we've seen it before. I mentioned Watkins Glen, and that was an inside joke I should have explained, because that guy took 0 tires at Watkins Glen, a road course, and he got it done. Gave him a convincing lead, and he really never even gave up a lot of it. And it looked like there, with about 10 to go, that Cowgill had found the balance and was not, or the Panzers have nothing for him, and I really think the lap traffic playing into his hands there. And helping out there for that all-time great finish. And also, it takes 2 to tango, and it takes 2 guys who are willing to race for it while making sure that they can both finish the race. And that's also, I think, a reason why Cowgill
Look at this right here.
Yep, this is going to be the showdown.
Look
And
at
this was for 6th place here.
Yeah, he's going to follow Louis going up back onto that front stretch. And this is where it's going to get spicy. He's going to take him. Actually, I think this is turn 3. He's going to look below Louis to make the move. Hugs that apron. Going to pull right up behind.
So I think this must be the white flag. I'm going to look for the white flag here. Let's see. Yep. That was it.
Okay, there we go. So, again, this is Steve Lewis and Cody Matthews.
This is Steve Lewis and Graham McGivern
That was Graham.
right here. So these are guys who know each other all too well. Thursday nights.
So Graham trying to side draft, didn't work, pulls in behind. Now this is where it gets awesome. This is coming into 3 off the back stretch. And look at this run. Gets a great run, hugs that bottom, pulls up beside him, almost overtakes him.
Oh,
Gonna come
man.
through 4. And then look what happens here. Lewis holds his line, and momentum just carries him through.
Wow. What?
Hey,
If you go to the rear chase and watch the movement of McGivern. McGivern goes down, then back up, and you can't do that wiggle.
So, yep.
If he had just
He's
cut
scrubbed.
the apron, it may have been enough. But wow, everywhere through the field. I mean, again, no yellows, but that did not matter in terms of still getting tons of action on the track. And sorry, Don, we cut you off. What were you saying?
No, it's okay. You guys want to hear something funny? So fastest lap of the race, Zach Panzarella. Second fastest lap, Graham McGivern.
Oh, let's go, Grant.
Third fastest lap, Steve Lewis. So these two guys had speed.
They did. They certainly. When did they put those down? Out of curiosity.
Graham put his down on lap 70,
Oh yeah.
and Steve Lewis put his down lap 39.
Get those reps in, boys, because those guys have it. It's really just as a matter of getting those reps in. One thing about this league as well, we're going to have longer practice sessions than I think what people are used to. We're going to have 90-minute practice sessions to make sure everyone can get these tracks underneath them if they didn't have that opportunity to do that throughout the week. But I think we may have covered about all the things that I wanted to make sure that everyone knew about this amazing league that we're working on right now. And again, cannot thank everyone enough for showing up to this inaugural race. It was a big deal to win this one, Mean Gene. This is a league we've been working on for, I think, over a calendar year now, and to see it come to fruition like this was truly a beautiful thing. I think the coolest thing as well is the goal was today, like 20 would have been great, but 15 would be very good. And we hit, I thought 16, but I guess it was 15. But on top of that, there's a lot of guys who I know are wrapping up seasons on different leagues today who will absolutely be there next week at Charlotte, another great racetrack. So I'm expecting to see an even bigger field next week. And when things get going in about a month's time, I'm expecting a field of 25 plus week in and week out, and just showing the type of parity that we saw today. I think we saw 6 or 7 different leaders, so nearly half the field leading this race today, and really just the type of racing that I'm a sucker for, guys, which is green flag racing, and just really just a lot of opportunities to make mistakes, right? Another reason why I love road courses so much.
Word's going to spread. I think people are going to go tell their friends what they saw, what they did. And another opportunity advantage that these drivers are going to have is these races are broadcast. You know,
Yes.
if we're not broadcasting this, we're not watching McGivern there at the end. We watched what happened. McGivern can go back, watch this broadcast, and play what coulda, shoulda, woulda been. And next time he races, he's not going to come back up the track. He's going to stay on that bottom. He's going to learn, hold your line, trust it. If you lose a drag race, that's fine. If it's straight up, don't lose a drag race because you keep turning the wheel. Input is your enemy.
Or he'll decide, you know what, I need to come up further up the track.
Oh my God.
You
That's-
know,
Okay.
that's a
I mean
Gene.
that's the way we go.
That's how I roll. That's my no. Don't take my strat. I actually Mean Gene School of Driving. Zach Clausen is my head instructor, and we too will teach you how to arc a brake, drive too hard in a car. All these into the turn. All these courses will be covered. It's 300 level instruction at a 100 level price. Come on down.
Yeah, it truly is. And one more thing to kind of piggyback on that point about guys like Graham McGivern is like an ultra talented guy. And I think also the guys that really hit those notes for me today were ones like Edward Peltz, Hunter Hall, Juan Delgado, Alex Hillman.
Easter Day
Yeah,
early in
oh
this
my
thing.
goodness, calling Easter Day. Guys that are just
Mark
ultra
and Mark. I
yeah.
love what Mark did too.
I'm
man.
expecting to see that 11 car up front quite a bit. We know what the 11 looks like on BRN. But one thing about them is like I'm sure in other leagues they've ran in, like we know how difficult it is to be broadcasted and whatnot. You oftentimes don't get your flowers, and you have to do an alternate strategy, like we kind of saw from Christopher Cowgill today, to get that airtime, right? I remember when me and Dalton were in a PRL back in the day, we would stay out, go a lap down, just to say we led a lap and get a little bit of airtime for Daily Drivers Inc. And that feeling of when we split the leagues and did the amateur pro thing and got to be on the air more was surreal. And it, I think, is what propelled both of us into better drivers and drivers that were capable of winning races. And it just goes such a long way to be able to watch yourself on these broadcasts, get the flowers and the recognition that you deserve. And that's another reason why we're going to go through the field every week and make sure, especially during these exhibition races, that we are giving everyone their moments that showed up. And really, it truly does mean enough, or so much, to every rookie of this league. And one more thing that I'll throw out there, guys, is the numbers for us in the booth won't get too much more difficult, because all these guys who show up to these exhibition races, and these guys, especially in this first one, are going to have seniority with their number choice. So if their first number choice is available and not taken by someone who has signed up even earlier than them, which is a small list, they will have the number that they are running today, which I think is essentially the whole field. I don't think I saw any repeat numbers on the trucks themselves. So another cool thing and another reason to get out here for these exhibition races, because if your number is an important thing to you like it is to me, I am so superstitious about that. Get out here early and get your claim on your preferred number.
And you know what? Hey, you know what's a good way to get airtime?
What's
Wrecking. And we didn't see any of that
Reckon,
today,
yeah.
that? We did not.
which
That's
is
a
awesome.
great way to get airtime. And that warms my heart as an admin of this league, to see a race that clean. I mean, we are working at, I'm going to keep just giving you guys some insights this league. We're working on our race control situation. Our goal is to have a designated, yeah, that's the word, race control for this league, week in and week out. But this was me and Dalton's first time trying that out as live in the race control. And they did us some favors, Dalton.
We didn't have to do anything.
We didn't have to do anything. So I think we did a great job. I don't think we made a single mistake, if you ask me. So I'm very proud of our effort out there today. But that definitely helps keep these races more legitimate, keeps the integrity high, is keeping them green and clean. So hats off this whole field today. And I'm not even going to say it had anything to do with the field size, because we've seen it with a lot of these guys. BRL went to Charlotte last week, and there was 30 of them, and the yellow flag came out once. So it's no surprise to see this level of high integrity racing out here.
That was a hell of a show. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys at home enjoyed it. We got 2 more weeks of exhibition coming up next week, boys. The boys are going to run again. You should come join us at Charlotte and see exactly what kind of adventure you can be part of. Start telling this story. Become one of us here at the DDI Racing League Truck Series. It will be 2 more exhibitions, and then they're going to go right into a season. You're going to want to be part of it. Tell your friends, tell your family. I mean, hey, the Cowgill boys are here. Why don't you bring your brother as well? Heck, bring your sister. You know, we got all kinds of seats right now. Only
presents.
Yeah, bring. I mean, heck, I don't even know who we're bringing. But it's going to be a heck of a ride. Get in now, get in early, and just take advantage of this new league. A lot of established drivers, guys that have run with each other for a while. And as you could hear on the radio there, fun rivalries. No, he was happy for Zach to win, but he also called him a son of a bitch. So really good stuff going on out there.
Truly the best, I guess, recognition you can get from an opponent is, yeah, it was a damn you son of a bitch, Zach. And that just means, okay, cool. So that was a good one. And that's, I think, what you're going to see a lot of out here. Not the same bitter rivalries that, while they're fun to cover on the broadcast, they're not fun to race week in and week out. And something that we're hoping to not have a ton of in this league, and a lot of that's going to be about the makeup of that roster. So be a part of that if this is something that looked like fun to you. Again, I truly think this will be one of the best leagues out there to get the recognition that you deserve and to also improve your skills, whether you're a beginner or I hate saying amateur, because a lot of these guys are the amateur champions and some of the best leagues in the world, but would be good enough to be running pro. But truly some of the top of the line guys. Fun fact that, again, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe it's the iRacing entire roster, 95% of them are below that 3,500, 4,000 threshold. So with this 3,000 iRating cap, if you win the championship in here, you can truly call yourself one of the best in the world at this discipline here, and just not an alien. And so this is going to be a great non-alien league. And yeah, just my final thoughts here, guys. I want to thank both of you for showing up and being in here in the booth for this inaugural race. This will be a special one that I remember truly for the rest of my time here on iRacing and on this amazing network. And we are going to be bringing you guys these rebroadcast style broadcasts for all the exhibitions here. No final word yet on what we're going to do about the broadcasting once the season gets underway. There will be a broadcast, just not fully sure if it's going to be a rebroadcast or a live broadcast. No matter what, though, it's going to be free for everybody on this rookie roster. And I hope you guys aren't watching your broadcast while you're racing, so that shouldn't make too much of a difference to you. But wow. I hope so. I know some guys who do that, and it blows my mind, man, Gene, because they know things that they shouldn't know once they talk to us. But it's
I work as an actor, and I'm in the scene, and I see some people trying to look at the monitor while they're acting. I'm like, bro, you're killing me.
So we both know what that's like, and
stop that.
Literally, stop that, guys. So if we end up being a rebroadcast this year, then I guarantee we'll still be bringing you guys the best possible product we can here on VRN, and it'll be making it worth your while to tune in and watch this action every week and get to watch the best do it. And I kind of said this as a phrase, but I really think it's where you're going to get to race the best and where the rest will become the best, because you guys are going to have the resources to do it here and become any driver you want to, just a matter of how much work you want to put in, because you're going to have the guys here that are willing to help you out and eager to do so. But an incredible first race. Cannot thank everybody enough, from the booth to the channel to every driver out there. I can't wait for next week, and I truly think we're in the early stages of building something special, and today was just the beginning, guys.
Yep, all levels of driving, people out there to help you. And remember, If you want to be any kind of driver, this is the place to do it. If you want to be a special kind of driver, you reach out to me, Mean Gene Driving School. You too could get a 30-point penalty. Zach Clausen, head instructor. Let's go.
$30 an hour.
Everything's a 30 on my side.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Dalton?
Yeah, you know what? I think about Kurt Angle, his 3 I's: intensity, integrity, intelligence. And I think those are good things that these leagues can embody. I saw a lot of intensity out there. I saw a lot of intense racing, but also a lot of integrity. It was still relatively clean, still very very clean out there, and then intelligence, a lot of just smart racing. Guys with good heads on their shoulders. So yeah. That's run out of things to say. So that's gonna be it for me.
Oh, one more thing. If you want to
That
join
was
this
good.
league, leave a comment in this YouTube video. We can send you the Discord. But this league, you can also find on vortexdiecast.com. Check it out, and that will take you to the VRN website. Figuring that out, guys. So I'm just going to give them the good URL right now. So vortexdiecast.com. You'll see DDI Racing League on the top. And over there, you can join the Discord as well. That's where we'll be posting all the passwords to these private sessions to continue to put on a great show for you guys. But that's all I got today, Minchin.
Awesome sauce. Well, that's going to wrap us up from Kansas as we saw Zach Panzarella take the inaugural DDI Racing League truck race here at Kansas. There'll be one next week. Join us as we will take the boys to Charlotte and see who's going to take home that second race. Let's get a bigger field. Get your friends. Bring somebody with you, and we can make it a bigger field for you and me and the fans at home. On behalf of myself, Mean Gene Money, the Dime Store Cowboys, Dalton Geyer, Zach Panzarella, the boys in the production truck who helped make all this production possible, our league sponsors, DDI, and tell me 2 more, Zach.
VRN and KK Woodscapes.
VRN and KK Woodscapes, and all the folks who make it happen. Join us next time as we'll bring it from Charlotte. And as always, bottoms up and hammer down.